Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here.
Meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel.
Another week, another episode.
Wait, what did you say?
Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of this week's episode of Legacies, which is the mid-season finale, going into the winter break, which is Season 1, Episode 7, Death Keeps Knocking on My Door. So yeah, Legacies is now off until January, unfortunately. I think it's January 24th it comes back on, which isn't as long as a wait as some, like Legends of Tomorrow, for example, isn't coming back until April. So trust me, it could be a lot worse. And there's some that are going to like February and such. So January 24th isn't so bad. And it left us with, I think, a pretty good episode. I mean, I think Legacies has really found its footing. I was especially impressed by last week's episode, the whole Lark and Joe dynamic, just some great acting there. This episode, while maybe not quite as concentrated, it did really get me, with Hope going into the mind of the Necromancer, who, is a somewhat campy villain, but I think he's played kind of well. And he did give us some important information. It was good to see New Orleans a little bit in some way again. He is also playing one of Hope's worst fears, or, paranoias of what's actually becoming of her father, of course, Klaus. Since he had sacrificed himself to, keep her alive, and of course in the series finale of the originals. She's telling herself what what she has for a while. That was his choice, and, she's trying to act like she doesn't feel any, guilt or worry over it, but she still does, and at the very least she still wonders what became of him. Did, his years of, being the big bad wolf still catch up to him, and he's sent to hell or somewhere like that for all eternity, or did he actually find peace yet, or whatever it is. And I was nervous because I have to be very, very careful with whatever they say about Klaus, because Klaus is quite possibly my favorite TV character of all time, and probably my favorite character of all time in general, in anything, not just TV either. I hope they can get Joseph Morgan to appear in some way eventually. I'm not saying I'm expecting it this season, but I think it would be nice. I hope I actually see him again to some extent. And I think he'd be willing to do that at least once, even if it's next season or something. But yeah, so that was really interesting. I was on the edge of my seat over that. I was nervous. I was tense. And we'll just talk about that right away. At the end, the Necromancer does tell Hope that Klaus watches over her every day, and that he doesn't regret his decision at all. So even though we can't see him, Klaus is apparently, keeping an eye on her. And it sounds like he's sort of caught, in, the other side style or something. And apparently he can't find peace or move on until she does, until she removes this burden of what she carries with her now over it. And, sort of all that within her own psyche, which I think makes sense. And Klaus is still tethered to her because of that, apparently. But like he said, Klaus did die with love in his heart, and it seems like he will be able to find peace once Hope does. So that's good to hear, and it's kind of cool, and sweet to know that he's watching over her as we speak. Almost, probably quite literally, knowing these worlds and stuff, so that's pretty cool. I like that. So maybe once Hope does find this peace within herself eventually, Klaus will be able to move on and find Cammy and maybe Elijah and Haley again and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. So I really like that part of it. Then I also had Raphael, dealing with the return of his sister, brought back by the Necromancer, and finding a little bit more about what caused, his turn into the werewolf and stuff like that. We find out that he and his sister had more issues than we had known before. He took a turn when she told him not to, just like out of anger, and then that caused her death. So I thought that was pretty good. The actor playing Raphael is doing a decent job. I think I do like Raphael better at this point than I do Landon and stuff like that. We're going to see Landon back next week, and that's okay. You guys know how I feel about Landon if you watch my other videos. I'm going to give it a chance, but I actually do kind of like Raphael and Hope's dynamic right now. And then, of course, Alaric and Hope do go at it. Pretty good back and forth between the two over, what happened with, his wife and, what Hope's trying to, do on her own, and, sort of the hypocrisy of Alaric going after her for that, but maybe it's understandable from his side. But I don't think, Alaric, of course, still really cares about Hope and probably loves her in his own way. Alaric's gonna, keep being there for her, but, they're kind of at odds right now, which I think is understandable. And we see Alaric, just sort of looking over Joe's grave at the end, and, it was, sad. And we have MG. For some reason, I keep forgetting the other guy's name, with the long dreads and stuff like that. I don't know why it keeps slipping my mind. But we see MG, he could end up being one of these rippers, like Stefan, right? Stefan Salvatore Memorial Library. So Dorian, warns him about that MG could be one of those. So don't just try and tempt him to bring him into this. And I think he starts to realize that vampires being themselves is a little bit more of a trickier issue than just letting them feed on human blood. It does other things too. And he seemed a little bit more, unaware of that. So that was fine as well. We didn't see any Josie or Lizzie this week, which I was fine with. I've gotten enough Lizzie lately. Overall, a good mid-season finale, especially with the Hope, Necromancer, and Klaus stuff. Lark as well. The Raphael stuff wasn't bad either, and we find out that the Necromancer has opened like one of 3 or 4 locks, for the Malivore, so we'll see where that goes. So yeah, what you guys thought about this one. Overall, I'm giving it about 9 out of 10. I think this and episode 6 are probably the best of the show so far. Let me know what you're expecting for the rest of the season. Ratings are holding steady. They're actually fairly good for CW standards, so I think we're definitely going to be getting season 2 as long as they don't take a nosedive, in the second half, which I don't think they will. And, I'm just really enjoying Legacies. I think it's coming around and finding its footing a little bit sooner than I thought it would. So follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.